What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Sarah from Sarah Styles. We are live today on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. I am super stoked to talk to TamsinThreads. I think I said it right. Today, I will introduce her in a minute. I am a reseller on Poshmark, Ebay, Tradesies, Etsy, all the platforms. I'm trying a whole bunch of different things out. And my channel here and on Instagram, I focus on data analytics. And I am so excited to do today's video because we are digging deep into TamsinThreads data. She has just transitioned into becoming a full-time reseller, and we are going to make some actionable goals so that she can make this full-time reselling work. So I'm going to introduce her. She, like I said, she is just moving on to full-time reselling. Oh, before I do that, if you like content like this, make sure to subscribe, and you can hit the little bell. I do a live video. I try to do one at least once a week, if not twice. So if you like content like this, you can send little reminders. Hey, Nicholas, you can set reminders on the lives. I have my live set up for next week as well. I'm doing one on small businesses. A lady who has had a small business for 15 years. She knows all the things. And then also on reseller apps. So we're going to go through our phone and talk about all the different apps that we use in reselling. So those are a setup for next week. You can set a little reminder for those. If you are watching this live with us, ask questions. This is an engaging, ask questions of me and of her. If you're watching this as a recording, definitely feel free to leave comments down below for me or for Tamsin, and I will make sure that she gets them. Give me a like, and give me a like if you like content like this to help extend my reach. So without further ado, Tamsin is transitioning to full-time. She mainly sells on Poshmark, but she's starting to extend her reach into eBay. She also is putting together Reseller Retreats. And we were just talking a little bit before this went live, and they're going to be amazing. Like, I'm so excited. I'm going to be speaking at the one in Denver. Maybe if we can make the technology work at some of the other ones. So here she is. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited. This is fun. I love data, and I am so excited to help you meet your goals and look at your data and help you find ways to make this full-time reselling work. And I'm definitely excited to learn more about these reseller retreats. So I always like to start off with how you came up with your name and then how you got into reselling.
Okay, yeah. So my name is Tamsin. It's like Samson, but with a T. And my original Poshmark name was Samson with a T. But it just was kind of hard to explain after a while. And then once I started to get to know people, they could eventually get my name. So I changed it to Tamsinsthreads. And it's still a mouthful, but the idea behind it is part of my brand is me. It's who I am. I'm trying to be as authentic as possible. And I feel like my name and my individuality sets me apart, from other brands and other shops and stores. So yeah, that's kind of how I got my name. What was the other question?
I know. How did you get into reselling?
Oh, yeah. So I always kind of had like an entrepreneurial side to me. Like I grew up mowing lawns for people, babysitting, nannying, whatever I could to earn extra cash. And for a while I was actually on Etsy. I did home decor. People would send me pictures of home decor that they found on Pinterest, and then I would recreate it for them, and I would sell that locally on Facebook Marketplace, which was super fun.
Yeah, give us an example. Like, that's daunting. How did you do that?
So we're in our 1-bedroom apartment, and I would go to Home Depot like 6 o'clock in the morning. We only had one car. I would carry the wood upstairs, and then I borrowed a saw from my family member, and I would stain and I would letter, and then my friend would cut letters out for me, and then I would also do like hand-drawn chalk paint. So it'd be like farmhouse, rustic type decor.
Okay, will you DM me some pictures? I'm gonna put them on my stories because this is amazing. Like, how did I not know that you did that? That is cool.
I don't know.
That's really cool. Yeah, DM me some pictures and I'll put them up on my stories. That's fun.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I really got into. But at the time, I had just moved to Arizona, and I'm actually from Oregon. And I was working at home. My husband was working like 60-hour work weeks. So it just wasn't good for me mentally because I was already having a hard time living in Arizona, not with my family and with my husband working so much. So I needed to get like a legit job and to get out of the house.
Yeah.
So that's when I started working. I worked at a preschool, I worked at Walgreens, and then I eventually ended up working for a national car dealership in titles department. So it was very like cut and dry, sit down, sign your name 60 times a day.
Yeah.
Don't mess up because you're going to cost the company thousands of dollars and then you'll get in trouble later.
Yeah.
So I was just like, my mental health was going down again, I would just say. So I saw on YouTube extra ways to earn cash, and then I heard about Poshmark, and then I found Empty Hanger. So YouTube, I love YouTube, and I just binge watched a ton of it, and then I went to Goodwill and called my husband and said, hey, you're going to see this charge on our card. Don't worry, I got it covered. I'm going to make our money back. And he was like, okay, I don't know, but sure. And then I ended up making my money back. I made some really dumb choices, you know.
Yeah, we all do. So you have never thrifted before you like started doing this a couple years ago?
Well,
Because most people are like, oh, I've been thrifting my whole life, and you like.
Yeah, I love thrifting. Actually, I grew up thrifting. I'm one of 5 children, so we grew up thrifting kind of as a necessity,
Yeah.
like, and it was just something that we did. We didn't ever go and pay full price. It's so funny because like that was like maybe 8 years ago, 10 or 8 years ago, but people would make fun of you for going thrifting if they found out that you go to Goodwill, you know. But
Yeah.
that's the thing, it's more accepted. And so I love thrifting, and I would even go to the bins with my like best friend in high school just for fun. So yeah, but now I can make money doing it, and I'm really happy doing it. It's really fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm one of 6 kids, and so it was very similar. We grew up thrifting, and I was always so ashamed, and like I would see classmates there and be so embarrassed. And now I'm like, well, like they were also there, so I'm sure they were embarrassed too. Like they probably weren't telling anyone because they saw me there, right?
Yeah,
And it was like totally embarrassing. And now I'm just like, ugh, whatever. Like I'll tell you, I got this for 50 cents at the thrift store, and I'm excited about it.
well, and the thing that I had to learn was brands and brand recognition and quality of clothing. Because for me, I would pick an item, one, if it fits and it made me feel good, and if the style was like somewhat relevant. And I actually really liked vintage wear in high school. It's kind of harder for me to find in my size now because vintage usually runs small.
Yeah.
But for me, it was the learning curve of like learning what's new, what's on trend, because when I was younger, I never thought that I could be trendy because they didn't have that at Goodwill. But now I know that you can actually find trendy on like good brands at Goodwill. You just have to search a little bit longer. So
Well, and when I go thrifting for myself, I have to like get myself out of my reseller mindset because I'm like, I don't care what brand it is there. Like, yeah, but when I'm thrifting for sourcing, I'm like just looking at the brands quickly and feeling and I'm like, I don't care. I need to actually look at the item and see if it's cute. Like this top I would never resell, but I'm like, that's cute. I don't know what it is, but it's not anything that would have made me money. But I'm like, it's cute. Like I'll buy it for myself. It's a whole different mindset when you're doing it personally and when you're doing it to make money.
Yeah, Target every day. I don't care. Walmart, whatever. It's fine. That's what I wear. I don't mind.
Target gets me at the thrift store every time because I'm like, oh, that's so cute. And then I'm like, damn it, Target. Like, I can't resell this.
Celebration. Dang.
Yeah, I was talking about it with someone else in another live. Target's designers are like, they're on point. Okay, let's dig into the data. We have lots of stuff going on. I am going to... I've never done one of these before, so we're just going to kind of dig in and do it together. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to start and show, let me see. So we're going to do the data. I don't know if I said, we're going to do the data first, and then we will talk about her, about the reseller retreats. And while I start sharing my screen, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you envision your like what full-time means to you and what you need to do to be full-time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so full-time for me would be replacing the income of a full-time job, essentially. But of course, I want to exceed that. And then like that's what I want to get up to and then kind of grow from there. I would love to have multiple streams of income so that if one platform kind of dies down or if I lose interest for a while, I can focus on something else. I like to try different things. I get bored quite easily. So I don't know. So figuring out like a good balance of like what's going to make me money, but also what's going to be fulfilling and also what's going to allow me to eventually grow a family, because we don't have kids yet, but it just hasn't happened. So when that happens, I'd love to be able to create income, but not have to spend as much time in order to create that income, if that makes sense.
Well, and I will say, as a mom of 3 children, this is an amazing job because it is so, like, my daughter had a fever this morning. I didn't have to call in. I didn't have to, I still work today throughout the day as I was able to. And then I can like stay up late and work if I need. And like, if you want to take a weekend off, it's a very flexible, great job. And especially if you can get it up and running before you have kids. I mean, I started doing it here and there, but it's hard when they're little to get it up and running. If you already have it kind of going, I think it's smart here. Smart girl. Okay, so we are now, everyone can see this fine. I've never shared a screen before. So we'll see how this goes. Leave me comments if you guys are not seeing things. So this is no, we're just going to go with this. This is the sales dashboard. So I have 2 analytical dashboards, and she has actually purchased these, and we've been chatting back and forth, and I was like, let's just do this. Like, I'll look at it for you. We'll talk about it together and let everyone see it. So I'm very thankful that she is like being completely transparent with everybody. I think there's a lot of questions out there. What does it mean to be full-time? What resellers actually make, what they actually do, I'm very thankful that she is doing this on live because I think it's going to be very helpful. This is the sales dashboard. So she has a sales dashboard and the inventory dashboard. The sales dashboard, you can have all platforms in there. She's currently on Poshmark and a little bit on eBay, but not a whole lot to make a difference for here. But moving forward, you'll be able to see that split out a little bit better if you start to cross-post a little bit more. And this is very eye-opening the first time you see it. Like, I've seen it a billion times, so I'm like, whatever. But on Poshmark, you don't ever know how much you make. And you keep pretty good track. You sent me your budget, and you keep pretty good track. But to see your monthly numbers and see how much you actually make is kind of like eye-opening. So I'm going to walk through this a little bit. Chime in when you have like aha moment. I love the aha moments or questions. We only have an hour, so I'm going to try and cruise through this. We can go over if you have time to, but so this kind of just breaks everything down. How much you're making every month, how much let me make it a little smaller. So can you guys see that? Is that too small or is it okay? We're good. 90. How about that? Okay. So how much you've sold. And then of course, Poshmark takes a 20% fee. And something we were chatting a little bit back. If you are full-time, if you're reselling at all, like, you have to keep in mind taxes. This doesn't have taxes. This does not have expenses. It's just what is coming from Poshmark. But that is something that you have to consider if you were wanting to do this to supplement your income. And then it takes out, I look at average sale price because it kind of gives you an idea on average how you're doing. So these are your average sale prices, how many items you've sold, whatever you did in May, do that again. You sold 101 items. So think back to what you were doing in May.
I think we're selling LuLaRoe for a friend as consignment.
Yeah, that makes sense because your average. So then this is the number. This is the big ticket number down here. Your average profit per item. So you were making $5 an item, which would make sense for LuLaRoe.
And I ended up wanting to pay her, so I didn't make any money doing all that work. It was not the best decision.
Yeah, well, lesson learned. So do you still do consignment, or are you like, that's it, I'm done?
I'll do consignment, but I'll be a little bit more honest with people. Like, I'm sorry, that brand doesn't sell well for me. Yeah. And then I'll do, hey, I'll trade you maybe, or, and then I'll sell it and take all the earnings, or, so I just have to do it a little bit differently. Or I'll offer to pay for their item outright so that I don't have to worry about how much I'm taking and how much they're getting,
And tracking it. I never did consignment because I'm like, I don't want to track things. Yeah. That sounds like added work. I'll do it. I do it for my mom. But like, she's my mom.
Yeah, I'll do it for family. Like, that's no problem at all. But mostly she was also lending me space. So I was working out of her house for a little while. So yeah. And she was like cutting my hair and stuff. We had some agreements, so it all worked out, but I don't think I would do LuLaRoe again.
Yeah. Well, and we'll look at your inventory, and it's interesting that you said that because we'll look at your inventory dashboard and see how it is. So this tells you your average sale price. We are only looking at, it looks at a calendar year. So we're looking at 2019. Oh, my computer is about to die. Hold on.
Oh,
I meant to plug it in and I just saw it turn red. So we're only looking at 2019. I did pull up your 2020 data and you do have year over year growth. I can't show it here because I don't know how to share 2 screenshots. But this, I looked at it to make sure it's kind of telling the same story as January.
okay.
And you are.
Good.
So your average sale price, on average, you were selling 58 items a month and $9.44 on average is your average sale price. So then from here, and this is one of my favorite features. Sorry, I made this small, so now I can't get to it. You have the simulator. So this is, you told me that you need to make, let me see. Can you guys see that? It's hard. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. It's hard for me to see this and if people are commenting. So I'm trying to move it around. Oh, that makes it weird for you guys. Oh, that made it weird. Sorry. Bear with me. Oh, yeah. Hey, yes. Can you do that? That would be helpful because then I can make this bigger. Yes. Great idea. See, 2 minds are better than 1, which is why I love these lives because we can all learn from each other. Okay, that's better for sure. Okay. So you told me that you need to make $2,500. That is your I am a full-time reseller income that you need to bring in. And so from here it goes through and it is telling you based off of your historical data, you can increase how many items you're selling or you can increase your average sale price. So if you kept your average sale price at that $9-ish, you would need to sell 274 items a month to hit that $2,500. If you didn't increase how many sales, so I think your average was like 58 sales a month, then you would need to increase your average sale price to $48. So that kind of gives you like goals to reach for. Most people, and for you, definitely, I would like aim for something in the middle. $50 an item, especially like from now, like next month, you're not going to have enough inventory to be selling $50 an item. 274 items a month is also from 58. I mean, that's also a lot, right? So even if you cut those in half and you did like 100 items, and you've done that in the past, 100 items at $25 an item, you would hit that $2,500, right? So that's kind of like, I do it as a roadmap. This is where you're at. That's where you want to go. And then we will look at ways to get you there, right?
Yeah.
Are we good? Do you have questions?
I will say in October, I don't know if you can see this trend, but in the fall time, I tried to take one class and I failed and it greatly affected my business, my sales.
Yeah. And I could tell in a little bit here, you can see a downward trend, but I did notice I was going to ask if there was something at the end. And you did note too that you got a VA.
Yes.
And so that helps because sharing, so you're strictly mainly on Poshmark right now. Sharing is, if you're new to Poshmark, you have to share your closet. Like if you don't do anything else, you have to share. And so having a VA, you noted that has already helped. So I think that'll help you get those sales. But now let's go through, this is your platforms. You've sold 1% on eBay. So not a ton, but as you start to move, you can see kind of how that shift happens. And then I just made up a number. You told me the dollar amount. I just made up an item. So this isn't true. I don't know how many items you sold. You told me the dollar amount was $50. But I didn't ask you how many items it was. So I don't know what your average sale price was. So
yeah, it was a previous account. And then I recently sold a $25 one, but it was a scam. But I ended up getting money from it anyway. Like eBay awarded it to me, but I didn't ship it. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. That is something. Moving to eBay when you're new, they are out in full blast. So be watchful before you accept an offer because then it can eBay. From what I've heard in your experience, they are pretty good with making things right and covered by PayPal. but then it means that you can't sell that item for however many weeks that you have to deal with that. And then you're on customer service and all of that. So, but you can see, I mean, as I just wanted to show this because if you end up doing more eBay or you can enter in any platform on here. So now we're going to look at strategies in Poshmark. Your sharing. This is your total orders by day, and this is for the whole year. So each month will kind of look different. I like to look at the whole year definitely for this because you can see it's probably balanced out a little bit more with a VA because you can the sharing a lot more. What's interesting here is a lot of people are like, oh, weekends are where it's at, and your Saturday is actually one of the lower numbers. And this is why it's good to look at your data because what they say isn't always true for you. And so I look at this just to make sure that like I'm being consecutive in sharing and like all of the activities that you should be doing on Poshmark. But then also like what day should I take off? You know, like, and sometimes it's like I take a day that I am having a lot of sales on because then it's not going to hit me as hard. Or, you know, Tuesday is like your worst day and people don't want to shop on Tuesday. So that's your free day, right? And then you take it off for a day or two and then you can see how it affects, or you take it off for a month or two and see how it affects your data.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's really cool.
Yeah. This one is nice if you like try a closet clear out. This is just all your sales. So if you're like, I'm going to try closet clear out and see if that works for me, and do a whole bunch of markdowns, you can come in here and just quickly look at the graph and say, okay, this was a closet clear out day. And oh yeah, like I did actually make a lot of sales on that day. That worked. Without knowing historically what you did, it's hard to see, but moving forward.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, ask away.
You keep track of what days you're doing closet clear out so that you know what dates to go back to? Or how do you
yeah, so if you have the dashboard, you have access to the Sarah Styles Facebook user group. In that user group, we have a thread that we keep track of all the closet clear out dates. If you want to personally be like, I'm going to do closet clear out here, then you would have to like track that you do that. So in the past, when I've tested closet clear out, yeah, I'll say, okay, I tried it this day and this is what happened. But if you wanted to historically go, like if you know all of last year you did it on closet clear outs, you could go look at the dates that we have in the Facebook user group and kind of sync it up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
I will say, so in the Facebook user group too, we do deep dives every month. So everyone has a dashboard and we all, like last month, we looked at repeat customers. What are we doing? Are there trends that we're noticing that is increasing our repeat customers? We've done closet clear out once or twice in the past. And based off of the larger trend, it's a bust. It doesn't, and if you've been on Poshmark, you probably... Everyone has their own theory. I will just say based off of the larger group data and the test that we ran, it wasn't fruitful. Okay, so this is your strategy. So Poshmark gives you strategies. You can send offers, you can do shipping discounts and bundles. Those are really like their big things to encourage buyers. Your offer to like, so 17% of your sales are coming from offer to likes. And what I like to look here too is your average sale price. Because if you're getting a lot of sales from that, but you're like really dropping your average sale price, is it worth it? And your offer to like average sale price is your highest one. So whatever strategy you've been doing, and you know your data better, so you might want to like look a little bit nitty gritty, but overall for last year, your offer to like strategy was pretty fruitful. You have the highest average sale price from it, and 17% is a pretty decent average sale price. And your buy it now is a pretty good price, which usually leads me to believe that you have items that people want at a good price because they're willing, and you probably have really good SEOs and pictures because a lot of buy it nows come from
like Google searches.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why I stuck with the white background because I feel like, yeah, I'd love to be creative and do really cute flat lays, but for me, like a white background, I feel like is more searchable and more, like, I guess, professional looking, in my personal opinion, like in my experience with that.
Yeah. And it's proven. Google has said that, like, they prefer white backgrounds. And so I'm the same. It is boring, but I put pretty pictures on Instagram. And because I want to sell, like, I'm on Poshmark to sell.
Yeah.
So yeah, Google has flat out said, like, white backgrounds pulls up. It's easier for them to pull up. And you can tell in your data, 15% buy it now is pretty good. Oh, my husband's on it too. I can see one comment on the bottom, and he says the user group does cool things. Thanks, Nick. He's on it. He watches. He's like my in case no one else shows up, my husband will be there.
That's nice.
That's what marriage is all about, right?
I love that.
So your bundles are actually 26%. That's a really good bundle percent. However, you're down here at the 13% or $13 average sale price. And I notice this a lot too.
I get desperate with a bundle because they're right there, and I'm like, get it, buy it. Like, I'll give you the best deal.
Right. And you're like, oh, you're buying 2 or 3 things. Like, I'll totally give you a deal. Right. And sometimes it's fine. Like, I've been doing bundles last month to get rid of inventory that I'm like, this is sitting. And if you liked it and you want to buy it, like, I'll give it to you for $5. I'm so sick of looking at it. But now that you know, it's something that you can think about and possibly work on how to encourage bundles without significantly dropping that average sale price. And then your shipping discount, Poshmark doesn't give a metrics to see your average sale price on that. But you have a 23% shipping discount, which is telling me you have, what is that, roughly 6% more, because offer to like, you have to do a shipping discount, but you're doing more than that because you have more than your offer to like percent, about 6%. So those other 6% is encouraging sales. Now, is it encouraging sales for a profit that you want? Poshmark doesn't give the metrics to look at that. But that's something that you can, like, I've messed around with doing free shipping, and it didn't do anything for me.
But it hurts, like, giving out free shipping. Because my prices are already really low. And then when I give out free shipping, there goes, like, I have a profit of $1 or $2, and that's it. So.
Well, and it's something like maybe over $50 items, right? Now that you have like that profit that you need to aim for now. I mean, $50 is from $9 to $50 is pretty hefty. But you can work on slowly increasing that. Customers, I blocked this out because I don't want to share your customers' data. But this, when you look at it, is all of your return customers. And you actually have, so last month we did a repeat customer in the dashboard group, and most people were between 1% and 3%. So you're kind of in that normal range of repeat customers. It's low, but Poshmark doesn't give us strategies to encourage repeat customer. Like, we have no idea if they're a repeat customer. But now, and once you have this dashboard, you can look at their names and maybe like go, hey, thanks for shopping in my closet. I have new items, or encourage, because you know they already like your stuff, right?
Yeah, I actually did that with a sale recently. I had, in my cards that I give out, I put my Instagram name, YouTube name. I have like 2 videos on my YouTube, so it's really not that big. But I put it somewhere. Yeah, and then I've had customers reach out and say, hey, like, I got your item, it's great. Or they'll share it on their highlights, and then they'll tag me, and then with that I can build a relationship with them. But I just had a recent birthday sale, and I specifically tagged those customers in my post so that they immediately went and they immediately bought bundles. So that worked out really well.
In your post on Poshmark?
No, in my post on Instagram about my flash sale. I did a flash sale for my birthday, $26 or under. I tagged like 9 people. And most of them were people who have bought from me before, and then resellers that have bought from me to flip. Like, they buy my items to flip them. And I immediately got Nicole State like swooped in and bought like a huge bundle. And then I have a friend from back home who bought 2 bundles worth, because she was like, oh, I forgot the clogs. And then I just put together another bundle for her, and she purchased that right away anyway.
That's smart. I hadn't thought to like reach out to Instagram.
Yeah, it's been really helpful.
Yeah.
because they'll tag me once they get their item, and then I just kind of stay in contact with them a little bit.
Yeah, that's so. What do you say on your business? Because I sent out my business cards that have my info on it, and I've like never gotten anything.
I have a QR code. I can grab a business card, but I have a QR code on my
mine.
card. Let me grab it real quick, actually. But I almost knocked over my mannequin. So sorry, I just like left you.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm writing this down. Like I'm learning from you. This is why I like these, because we all learn from each other.
So I don't know if you could see that, but if you scan that, it'll take, like, your phone should immediately take you to the website. And I believe this one's my Instagram or my Poshmark. I can't remember. But I also have my Instagram here. And then I also have a post in Poshmark about my Instagram. And I screenshot my last, like, recent 20 posts. So when they're looking at the post, it kind of looks like they're looking at my Instagram.
Oh, and put them on Poshmark as a
a listing. So the first photo is like my name and my highlights, and the second photo was like a 3x3 of my last 9 recent posts, and the second one is another 3x3. So it's like they're looking at my feed, and if they like it, then I have a link tree in my link for Poshmark. So then they can go to my Instagram through Poshmark.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of how they found me. But
yeah, no, that's smart, because it's hard. Like Poshmark does. Finally, they gave us a place to put our link on our closet, but even then, there's not a way. Like they tell you to do stuff on social media, but it's kind of hard to. Yeah, that's smart. I have a QR code on my card as well that I send, but I don't. I mean, maybe people do it, but I've never explicitly gotten one person has told me that. And people on Poshmark that are like, oh, I see you on YouTube, but I hadn't thought about like going after them. You're
reaching out. Yeah.
By state, this is pretty. I mean, some of it's helpful. I can't tell you a whole lot about it now. The big ones are going to be California, Texas, and Florida, because they're the biggest population state. I mean, that's most people's biggest. I mean, something you can do is look at kind of the stuff that you're sourcing and seeing, like, you know, if you're selling a lot of like things that people buy in California and on the East Coast, like keep picking that kind of stuff up. Or you have a VA, so it's not so relevant for you. But like if you're sharing your closet and you're selling a lot of stuff on the opposite coast, be cognizant of like sharing at times when like they're awake. So that's your sales dashboard. We're doing good on time. Do you have questions kind of where you're at, or any like aha moments, ideas, thoughts?
Well, your husband says that he likes my card. I don't know if you can see that. Thank you. But it makes sense that it would kind of be those areas because they're most popular: California, Texas, and Florida. But Maine, and I'm actually from Oregon, so my style, I really like picking up like leather bags and quality like outerwear. I like gravitate towards that hipster looking vibes, I guess. I gravitate towards and Western wear. So I guess that kind of makes sense. And I'm more familiar with like LL Bean type brand. So I will pick them up. So that kind of makes more sense. I don't know if that plays into it at all, but.
No, I think so. And I notice, I mean, I'm in Colorado and we see a lot of active wear. And so I notice that I sell like similar stays like that. And then also I do a lot up in here because it's cold. Yeah, because it's cold. Like I get like Sorels. I mean, I can find a pair of Sorels almost every time that I go somewhere. Or like in Arizona, you probably don't see a lot of that stuff.
No, but I do see a lot of jackets, but a lot of them are vintage looking jackets. I think it's because the old people come to Arizona and donate their jackets because they don't need them anymore. And then we get a lot of
other reasons. Yeah. But as you say that, and you said that you like vintage and you've thought about it, I have heard Arizona is like prime spot for vintage because of that. And we'll look at we'll go to the inventory dashboard now. I do want to, I can't bring it up because I don't know how, but I do have that tracking kind of to help you figure out your goals and stuff. I do want to quickly go over it just so you can kind of walk away with like, this is what I'm going to work on. And so I would say, I mean, based off of your simulator, it's saying you need to either sell 274 items or increase to like $48. That's not realistic, especially from now. I think you could probably get there if you really wanted to, pick one or the other. I would say that for you to work on getting to 100, selling 100 items and increasing your average sale price to $20 an item. And we'll look at your inventory, but I think when you're outsourcing, if you can really keep that average sale price in your mind, is it going to get me here, right? So that you can hit that $2,500. It's going to be slow going because you have inventory in your closet that's not there, right? And so but I think you'll start to over time see that average sale price increase. And then just quickly, you've been on Poshmark for a while, but Poshmark type things, I did ask you about like your listing totals and your followers. Your self shares are really good because you have a VA. Your listing totals, I mean, so you have 328 items in your, actually, let's go to the inventory really quick. You have 328 items in your closet. Your average sell-through rate is 68%, which is actually really good. Yeah, for so this is looking at the whole year, and we're resellers. So you don't get, it's not like a regular retail where you're like, I'm going to buy these bathing suits for this time frame and they're all going to sell. Like it's a little bit more flexible, right? If you find a jacket in the summer, you're going to buy it and it's going to sit, and you don't get to explicitly pick what you want so much, right? So that's, I mean, that'd be very proud of that. That's a good, especially because you've been doing it part-time. Like,
well, part-time, but also I'm the type, like if I see something that's been in my closet for 3 months, I'll take it to a consignment shop, or I'll just say, okay, this was a bad buy. Like I won't get this again, or I might relist it. So I like to, when I'm doing my relisting, I like to go to just in and then go to the like very, very bottom of my closet and then figure out what to do with that inventory and then kind of reevaluate. So I think that has something to do with my sell-through rate.
That makes sense. Do you have luck at consignment?
So I don't really, I'm not the type, like I tried it once, so I need to do it again, where you go to the bins and then you take it straight to Plato's Closet to get immediate cash. Like that did not work out well for me. But I do have a consignment shop here in Arizona that I'll just drop off my items that I don't want anything to do with anymore, and they'll either accept them or not. And if they don't accept them, then I'll donate to the shelter that they are in conjunction with. But it will turn into profit later. So I'll go in like a month later and they'll be like, you have $50. And so I'll either decide to cash out or purchase inventory from that store. So usually that store has good inventory. And then they have 2 sales twice a year. So I can save up and get a lot of stuff. So I actually just did that recently, and I spent $2 on like 10 items of inventory. And then I went back a week later and found like a bunch of Kate Spade for like $2 each and stuff. So that's cash, but it is very helpful to go to that store. And then I do a couple other ones, but it's not like, oh, here's all this cash. It's just kind of thinking about in the future, maybe this will be money that I can, or credit that I can use towards something.
Yeah. And if it's not selling in your closet, then you're at least getting something for it, and it was something that you can flip to make money on. That's smart. I don't have time. I keep saying that, like, I'm going to do consignment because you hear a bunch of people who do it, and then I'm like, I don't have time.
Yeah. Well, just take a bag, like a tote, and grab 10 items that you are sick of looking at and sharing, and then just take those and see what happens, if you just want to try that.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Okay, so at 68%, I think I wrote this number down. Yes, so if you can keep that consistent, your 68% sell-through rate, in order to sell the total that you need to sell, you at 60%, you need to have 456 items listed. Okay. So, I mean, that's reasonable. I mean, what's hard about increasing your listings is like things also sell.
Yeah.
So if you're selling 100, but you need to be listing more than you're selling. So that's something I think that you can work on. And now that you're full-time, you have more time to do it, right? But that would be like one of my goals if I were you, is like really working on upping the listing and increasing my average sale price to get there. And then I can't share it, but I did a video on, I collected a bunch of sample data and what activities in Poshmark correlate to sales. And surprisingly, followers were up there. It was one of the top activities. And I had kind of gotten off the bandwagon of doing followers.
Yeah, and just like, followers don't matter. It's okay.
Yeah, and it goes back and forth, but this is data. I'm not saying what works for me. This is the data I looked, and it's in a video in my YouTube. I don't know how to share another screen. So I can't share it and show it. But it was a little correlation chart, and I took, data sample points. And the correlation on the followers was one of the higher ones. So I would try and focus on increasing some of your followers. And it was a really tight band with under 100,000 followers. So I think once you get past that 100,000, you can maybe lay off of the followers a little bit. But right now I would focus on like upping your listings and then also increasing your followers.
Okay. Yeah, I've tried like 3 different virtual assistant programs, and one of the programs you could decide how you get like 3,000 clicks per day, and you could decide how you want to use your clicks. But I think proportionally I had too many like focused on following other people versus self shares. And so if you look at how many people I'm following, it's like over 100,000.
Yeah.
But my followers are like 50,000, and then so I think something kind of went a little off there, but yeah, definitely.
Are you doing that VA still, where you can do the by the clicks, or is it just closet shares?
I have a new VA, so I'm not really sure exactly what they do, but it's working.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with it.
Stay with it. Okay. So I just wanted to note on that real quick, but now we're in the inventory dashboard. You have to look at where you were to know where you're going, but I like that. The inventory is fun. So we're looking at all of 2019. Your highest revenue brand was Free People with a total of 690, which makes sense because hipster, that's kind of like more hipstery, boho kind of brand that I cannot sell. I don't know why I cannot pick it up and sell it. And then your top category with the total number sold is shoes. So hooray there. These items up here are just, they don't mean anything for you because they're your little tag sales. You have the most likes on a bookmark. So
yeah.
Inventory management, this just will go through, so you can look at it if you want, but this just goes through all of your inventory. Your listing totals, this is something I'm going to note on it. It doesn't make a huge difference right now because you're going full time. So hopefully these will change. Let me make that a little smaller so we can see all of it. Yeah. So you relist, I can tell. Because so the pink is what's sold from when you listed it, and then the blue, can you see that guy, or should I make it a little bigger?
I can't see it, but I can see like it visually if you explain it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, is it really small on your screen?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Okay.
Like I can kind of see little numbers.
Okay. So the pink is what's sold from when it was listed, and then the green is what you've listed in the month. And so you don't have a lot of things going all the way back, which tells me that you relist. Either you sell all of your inventory, which you're not at 100%, or you relist a lot, which you mentioned.
Yeah.
Your average, so this takes into account the whole time frame. Your average monthly listings is 30, but you can tell like you've ramped that up. So that's probably not a true indicator if you were to look at like the past month or two when you've like really focused and gone full time. But this will help you track your listings going forward so that you can try and get to that 400 and some odd number, however many we said.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now the inventory. This is fun. Top brands. Your most sold is LaLaRue. Is that how you say it? LaLaRue?
LuLaRoe.
LuLaRoe. Oh yeah, I'm thinking of I don't know.
Lululemon.
Yes, I'm like mixing the two. I'm molding them together.
They're very different.
Oh yes. So that is your most sold, and that makes sense now because you sold it for your friend. But you made, well, I guess you didn't make this, but
Yeah.
it made you $517. Your highest total dollars. So you've made the most money on free people. No surprise with this one. Your highest average sale price is Freebirds. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. Freebird by Steven. So I mean, if you can find those all the time, like
That was my first like big sale when I actually first started reselling.
Oh, were they yours or did you find them?
So I have to tell you the story because it's just it's perfect. So I went to Savers. It was half off day. It was after work. I was really tired. They were kind of distressed looking and they didn't have a sticker on them, but there was just something about the quality of the leather. So when I looked them up, they were currently selling on Amazon for $300 currently. And I was like shaking because I don't know. I was shaking, I was sweating, and I took it to check out. And the person was like, "Oh, these are kind of like a little distressed. Like, we'll do $6.99." Well, it was half off, so they were $3.50.
That's amazing.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's fine."
Yeah, as on the inside, you're like shouting, right?
Yeah, I was like, I need to change my clothes when I go home. Like,
that's amazing.
And then after that, I was sold. Like, I was sold with Poshmark. I was like, this is so much fun and I feel so happy. And then I've met the community and then I was like, this is what I want to do. But
yeah, that's amazing. Those stories are the best. And that's absolutely what keeps us doing all of the things that we don't like.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your fastest selling brand was like a graphic t-shirt. So I don't know if that was just like yeah, I don't know. You probably know what that was. It sold for $11 in 1 day. 0 days. It sold right away.
Oh, okay. I mean, I had a couple of those. Like, I had a Cole Haan boots, but it was a t-shirt that showed.
Yeah, well, the brand is graphic t-shirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can probably, and then like Wild Fox is there in there, Holding Horses is in there, Patagonia.
Yeah.
I mean, Dior, hello. Okay, so this will help you. I mean, these are like your bread and butter brands and then your average sale brands. So your total quantity, I mean, I probably would not pick up but you knew that already. So we don't have to go over that. But your vintage, girl, your vintage is 30. I mean, that's your second highest total sold is vintage.
Cool. I like that.
I know. I love vintage. And what's so surprising to me is most people are like, I don't know about vintage. I don't know how it's doing. And it usually does better than you think it's doing.
Well, majority of the time it looks vintage to me and I just say vintage because I can't find the brand. So maybe that's an error on my end. But if I can't find the brand, if it's older looking, then I just put vintage. And I think people just search vintage, like that brand a lot.
Yeah.
That, you know.
It is. And there's times that like if I'm trying to think, if I do have the brand, I'm like, do I do the brand or vintage? Like, are they going to search for this because it's vintage or because it's the brand? But now it can help you like kind of decide where you want to put it and maybe do more vintage because it does sell well for you.
It's fun for me too. It's really fun for me too.
I love vintage. It's one of my favorites. And then your highest average, your highest total sold is free. So free people, I'm skipping that one. And vintage are like your top earners. So definitely like when you're out, keep an eye out for those. Steve Madden is kind of up there. Can you see these? Do you want me to read them to you?
I can actually see those, surprisingly. Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, I don't want to assume that you're reading these.
No, you're fine. I just don't want to get too close to the screen and like.
Oh, let me make this bigger.
No, you're good. Okay, that's better.
Yeah, because we don't need to see all of that part. So this breaks it up by your total quantity sold, your average sale price, your total revenue, and then your fastest selling. So if you're trying to increase your average sale price, like go after those. If you're trying to sell more items, you want to do kind of a faster, like what's selling really fast for you and what you're selling a lot of. So that's where you can look at these brands and say, okay, these are really selling a lot for me. These are things that I want to keep picking up. People like them. I mean, most of these are things that you would know. But for you, vintage and free people are definitely up there.
Yeah. How does it play in with bundles? Because sometimes if people are getting bundles, like if I'm doing a buy one, get one free, technically, what is the sale price of that? Do you know that? Or
Yeah, so they split it out depending on like the percentage. And so for easy math, let's say you sold a bundle. Let me figure out how to say this so that I can quickly do it in my head. So if you sold a bundle for $100 and there was 2 items in there, but the original cost of the one item was like $80 and then the other item was $20, they would take an 80% and apply that to the new price, or apply 80%. No, so let's say the original price was $100.
Yeah.
And you sold it for $80, but they would take the 80% for that $80 item and apply 80% to the bundle, and that would go to the higher price item.
Okay.
And then, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they allocate it appropriately.
Okay. That's good to know. I wondered about that.
Yeah. So it is not a true representation of a free item.
Okay.
And I do things for free. And when I track in my inventory or in my financial spreadsheet, when I give a free item, it's a marketing expense. And so I actually take it out of my marketing and not out of my inventory.
Oh.
Because I have it purposely for I am purchasing it to encourage sales, not as inventory. And so in my financial thing, the numbers are a little bit different because I don't take that as.
So you buy something for $5, but you were wanting to sell it for $25. Do you use $25 as the marketing or $5 as the marketing?
$5 as the marketing. So I essentially am like buying free, like if I were to buy chapsticks to give out at a fair, right? That however much I spent on the chapsticks to give out is like a marketing expense, and I'm not assuming that I'm making any money off of it.
Okay. That makes sense.
And then when they bundle that, whatever that whole price goes towards that one item, not the free item. Okay. So I get like scarves and stuff at the bins that cost me like nothing.
Yeah, I do those for free.
Yeah. These are all your brands. I'm not going to go over this, but this will help you when you're like, I wonder how that brand did for me. You can go in and see how it did. Cool. And then you can go into your sizes. I'm not going to go, this can get like pretty intensive and we're pushing on an hour. And I really want to talk about the retreats with you. I mean, we can go over, I have time, but I don't want to keep people too long. So this goes into sizes. I am not, categories. I do want to go over categories. I moved things around. These are your categories. Shoes, we knew that. You sell a lot of shoes. And your average sale price for shoes is $27. So if you're trying to increase your average sale price, I mean, maybe going to shoes first or focusing on shoes can help with that. What I would look at here is things that you're selling at that $20 average sale price. Obviously, you'll have things here and there that aren't going to be there, but stuff like, let me see, jewelry, accessories, these might be if you're doing free items, though, so that could be skewed.
Yeah.
But like some of these, like swim, you're at $15. I would really look at like your pants are at $20, your intimates are at $20, your shoes are like your highest. So those are kind of items that are around that $20 mark that you're aiming for. And then as far as quantity, increasing what kinds of things you're selling. I mean, it doesn't look, swim is hard because it's very seasonal. So maybe for the summer, but you're not selling a lot of skirts. So maybe be more specific, like more intentional. Yes. You're picking up there.
I avoid skirts now because they don't sell. I mean, I do sell dresses because I enjoy them, but not so much to make as much profit. Like it's more fun for me to get dresses.
Which I mean, some of that matter. I pick up a lot of vintage that is lower than I would sell other things because I like it.
Yeah.
And if you're selling it, and if you can sell a lot of it, like if you can make up the average sale price because dresses is your next top seller quantity. So you're not making, you're at $15 here, but you're selling, that's your second top category. So if you can find ways to like listen quickly, then you'll make up that profit because you can sell more of them, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Say days on hand over here too. I mean, I think as you relist, it's hard to really tell this too because it gives it a new start date. But that's something that you can kind of keep an eye on. If you're trying to sell things fast, you obviously want a lower days on hand. You do sell mainly women's. And this breaks up your average sale price. And so like home, you're at $9. If you're going to keep doing home, be more intentional with what you're picking up for home. Kids, same. I mean, $6 an item for kids, be more intentional.
That was more consignment. That one was.
Yeah. Well, so then, yeah. But men and women, you're higher up. So your average sale price of men and women is that $20 mark that you're at. What's bringing it down is your home and your kids.
Yeah.
So if you are more intentional with just men's and women's, you could, I mean, you're at that $20 mark, right?
Yeah.
And then if you just increase your listings, I mean, boom, you're there.
Yeah.
And then your sell-through rate, this is up what you're buying, how much of it is actually selling. Your average, again, is around that 65%. Things that are doing better than that, shoes are where, you know your shoes. And they're easy to list or to pictures.
It's just the cleaning them that I keep putting off, which slows me down. So it's just like cleaning them right when I get home, and then I think I'll be fine.
Yeah. I started paying a teenager in my neighborhood to come over and clean my shoes. Because she's very flexible. I'm like, hey, I went shopping. Can you come over tomorrow? And she's like, yeah, fine. She can do all of them in an hour, and it cost me like $10.
Okay, I need to do that.
Because I was the same way. Like I would put them off, or I wouldn't do them, or I wouldn't buy them because I'm like, I don't want to clean that. And it was it's worth it for me to have her clean my shoes. And she'll do my purses too. And
yeah, because it's something that I put off. Like purses, you have to like flip them inside out and kind of scrub them and all that good stuff. So yeah.
It may be worth it. I mean, you have to spend money to make money, but like don't spend all your profit, but like think strategically. If it's something that you don't like doing, you're trying to run a full business on one person. Like if there's something that you can pay someone $10 to do, like I'm all for it. Jeans also, you sell a lot of jeans, and your sell-through rate for jeans. So what you're buying, a lot of them are selling. And I think, it's at that $20 mark for your jeans.
Did you see Rodney's comment?
No, I can't see them.
He says, what's the psychological aspect of the potential buyer seeing an item that has been up for a while versus them seeing it relisted?
Great question. I'm not a psychologist. But based off of everything that I've read and the data tests that we've done, I don't know the psychology behind it, but it gives it in Poshmark when you relist it, it gives it a new item number and it puts it in the just listed, which people are searching for, or just in, and it'll gain traction because it's now it's giving it new limelight. Like when on Poshmark, when something is new, it's at the top of searches. And so that's why relisting is helpful. I don't know as far as a buyer goes, if they care if it's just in, but I would think so because they're searching that field, right? Do you have thoughts?
I would definitely say, like, for me, even if I screenshot something and I try to relist it and it's not as good quality, it's still going to sit there. So relisting it, you want to take better photos, and hopefully that will help too. So there's some aspect of redoing a listing and improving your search words and your description and your detail, but also the quality of your photos. I think that freshness of it really helps. I mean, sometimes screenshotting stuff and relisting it works if you just need to get something up for the day. But yeah, I think you're right. Like Poshmark does favor items that are just in, because that's showing that. Because at the top of your page, it'll show new items listed, and so they pop in there.
And Poshmark wants you to be active all the time, and so I think that's why they favor just in, because it shows that you're like doing things right. And on that note too, on eBay, they're really big on, if something's sitting, to switch up the pictures, and even switch up the words for SEO purposes. So I wonder if that's part of it too, and doing new pictures. Your swimwear, so while it was, you weren't selling a lot of it and it was lower priced, you weren't selling a lot of quantity of it, but it's because you didn't have a lot of it. You did sell of the swimwear that you had. You sold 92% of it. Jewelry, I probably would skip on unless it's like your free items, because you're not selling a lot of that. Bags is up there too. 74% of the bags that you're picking up are selling. And my guess would be they're probably a higher average sale price. Yeah.
I'm loving bags and shoes right now. It's like heaven.
That's where because I do all of this stuff in YouTube, I don't source as much anymore. And so I'm like a bags and shoe girl. I'm going to note on this, but just in the sake of time, because we are at an hour and I do want to talk to you about the reseller stuff. You can go. So once you kind of figure out like, okay, I'm going to work on dresses. So you can come in here and say what dress sizes are selling. So when I'm out, and you can see, so their sell-through rate, size 6, it's typical. Size 2, you're only at a 25% sell-through rate. Extra large is 100%. So you can, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I wanted to show it to you because it's really helpful when you're out and you're like, I don't know if I want this. And then you look at the size and you're like, that's a size that does not sell. But if it's like something like Gucci, I'll pick that up no matter what size it is.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I don't know, and you're kind of, trying to figure it out, the size helps. And then there's also a subcategory you can do the same. So over here on the left, it's things that you have that have not sold. So cowboy boots and Western boots. If that's something that you just listed, I mean, that a lot of times for me, that's what it is. But you can go through and look and see what like wedges aren't selling 23%. Sometimes what I do too, though, is say, okay, my wedges aren't selling. Can I put them in a different category? Are people searching a different category for them?
What's my platforms? I can't see that very well.
Yeah, where is
Because a lot of my wedges are wedge platforms.
Yes. So your platforms is 64%. So you may want to switch over to platforms because people are looking for platforms, right? And so then you're not even like sourcing new things. You're just getting what you have sold in a strategic way.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And so you can go through all of the things and I'll let you do that because we're out of time. But then you can do it. You're mostly women's, but if you start selling more men's, you can look at men's as well. Like what is selling well for men's, what is selling well for women's and stuff. I'm stopping you there. Do you feel like you have a handle on things and a game plan going forward?
I feel like I need to list my 2 bins of jeans that I have sitting waiting for me.
There you go. For sure. You'll make your profit next month if you do that.
I think so.
Jeans are hard to list though, I feel.
Yeah, I've been putting a tape measure in the listing so that I do 3 different pictures, waist, rise, and inseam. And then I don't have to list it. And they've been selling actually pretty quick for me. Like the new jeans that I've listed with new photos.
I just don't think I know what to buy. I can't sell jeans because I take pictures of them too. And I try because everyone's like, oh, jeans. And then I try it again. And I don't know. But yay for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your data. Let's get you to that full-time reseller income. But now let's talk about the reseller retreat. So you are putting on reseller retreats. Share with us kind of what they are, how you came across this, what you envision, like all the things.
So with reseller retreats, the main concern that I got back from PoshFest was that people went to PoshFest and they were looking for ways to grow their business. But they heard was make sure your listings look nice, make sure you have good photos and good lighting. But a lot of the resellers are beyond that, and they are looking for ways to really like get into their business, similar to what you're doing, which is like data and analysis. But for me, I'm like, okay, so how do I set up an LLC? How do I get a tax number? How do I start buying liquidation pallets? How do I get on eBay? And like tactics and ways to really grow your business. So that was kind of missing. And then I had a lot of friends say like, oh, we should do like a girls trip, but no one really could plan it because everyone's just so busy. Yeah. So not that the reseller retreats are exclusive to women, but I wanted a way for people to get together and have an excuse to get together. And then I wanted to like replicate that weekend. So you just kind of plug in different details, whether that's different speakers, different topics, and different locations, but like the formula is pretty much the same across the country. So, and I love like party planning, and I know all these little silly games of how to like get to know you games, and all of the really weird details that I've kind of picked on different hobbies and stuff like that, like all make sense. So when the idea came to me, I felt like it was inspiration. Like I was like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
And I definitely felt that confirmation, like, okay, this is what I need to be doing. So that's kind of how the idea came about.
I 100,000% applaud you and agree with you. And I mean, everything that you said is why I'm doing these lives, because all of those questions are out there and they're not questions that I can answer. That's why I'm having other people come on. People want to grow it and make it a business, and there's not tools out there to do it. And I hate party planning. My sister planned our wedding because I was like, here's some money. Like, I don't want to deal with it. And so I applaud you for all the work that goes into it.
Yeah.
And I think it is absolutely an amazing idea. So can you share with us what you have? Like, do you have things planned out already? Do you have places, like as much information as you can give us now?
Yeah, definitely. So I have the first couple are on the West Coast. So the first one's in Gilbert, Arizona, and that's going to be the first weekend in April. A couple weekends later is going to be Vegas. Week after that is California. A couple weeks later in May is going to be in Portland, PDX, and then Denver, which I'm going to see you at. Super excited. And then I have South Carolina, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Texas, all of that. So those
How
ones,
are you going to do all of that?
I don't know. I'm taking it day by day. But those ones, I'm finding like the ones that are coming up sooner, I'm trying to get registration open for those soon. And then for the ones that are happening later, I don't want to go into too much planning right now, because once I get a few underneath my belt, I might want to change the way that I plan the future ones.
Yeah.
So with the first like 4 or 5, I'm getting like main details together so that I can at least post it and register it. But right now I have a website. It's just not live, because on it I'm going to put registration. And so right now I'm calling venues and booking places and putting down deposits and all of that stuff. But I'm using my reselling business to fund it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a tricky spot, but it's kind of taking me a little bit longer to get it together, because I want to create a budget where people can afford to come, but I also am not losing money. So finding that good happy medium and getting that feedback from people of like what people are actually willing to spend on a retreat like this. And then my main thing that I am working on is getting good speakers and providing great content, because I think that's like what the most important thing is, besides like networking. But I really want people to get the most out of it so that they can go like leave it feeling really empowered. So I am working on content. I'm writing an ebook, actually, like I never thought I would, but it's like a ebook workbook that will go along with it. So when the weekend starts, you'll get this ebook that you can kind of follow along. And then I just created I was talking to you about this. I just created a reseller's budget that you can get if you purchase it. So it will say like where you can keep track of your expenses. So there's like little extra things that I'm doing so that it's like definitely worth your time and money. So for right now, I'm finishing up getting like a few structural details together so that I can get registration open. And then when registration opens, I can get more into details about like raffle prizes and goodie bags and reaching out to companies for giveaways, like that type of stuff, sponsorships, and those type of details.
Yeah.
Later, I think.
I do want to note, so your website is down below. It's not live now, but will be a recording on my YouTube forever. So if you're watching this in the recording, try and click on that if you're interested, or you can DM her as well for it. Can you release? I'm going to speak at the Denver one. And if we can figure out technology and make it work, I'm willing to speak at other ones as well. But can you like tell us the name? Yeah, you don't even have to say name if you don't want to, because it's not confirmed. But like, what kind of content you're writing an ebook? Like, what are you planning like on?
So for me personally, like I am not, I've been doing full-time reselling for a month and a half. So for me personally, I am facilitating and bringing the people who know what they're doing together to help those that need help. So the first portion, like the introduction, is going to be about being in the right mindset to learn and understanding your strengths and weaknesses so that you can like realistically come to a truth of like what you need to work on and what you need to ask for help on, but also what you can help other people. And but being realistic about it, because there's nothing wrong with admitting what your weaknesses are, but there's also nothing wrong with admitting what your strengths are, you know, because then you can come to the conference with something.
Yeah. And I mean, we were just talking about this. You're a team of one, but we're running a whole entire business. You can't do it all. And when you can focus on what you're doing well, you can figure out things that you don't like or you're not doing. That's and this is why you're planning it, because that makes so much sense, but I could like never think of that. Like,
yeah. Well, I'm kind of planning it for a person or a reseller like myself who I've been doing it for a while, but I really want to take it to the next step. How do I be a 6-figure reseller? And I don't know. I think it's possible, and I'm going off that limb, you know, that I've seen it done. But then after that, the content would be having someone speak on social media, branding, YouTube, inventory, finances, and budgeting. I really want to get like a CPA in each state to come and talk about taxes, and because I can share what I've learned about taxes, but I'm not a CPA, so I wouldn't want to direct anyone incorrectly. And kind of getting like really in depth about like bringing in a 6-figure reseller who might not be on social media, but is willing to share what they're doing and what's working for them. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
You and Lily Bunny Fufu. Oh my God, I love her name. Or his name. I mean, he hit the nail on it. You totally lit up when you started talking about this, and you light the fire for it. It's such a good idea, and I want to help you get it out, and I think it's definitely a need in the community because there is the eBay open, but then it's all eBay. Yeah. And then there is the Poshmark thing, which I haven't been to, so I can't speak to it. But from what I've heard, like what you are doing, I think is a need in the community. And I applaud you for taking on all that work because it sounds awful to me. Someone has to do it.
Fun. It's more of just like finding a balance between how much time I can actually spend on my reselling business, because my reselling business is funding the Reselling Retreats like foundation. I'm not taking out a business loan. I mean, thank heavens my parents paid for my plane ticket to come to Oregon at least, but yeah, like I'm just working from there in that base. And I don't know, overall, I'm just like very excited and passionate about it. And I feel like it's calling to me. Like, okay, this is going to sound very cheesy, but when I was feeling like I should quit, but I was really scared too. And I was feeling really kind of overwhelmed. Like, am I even capable of doing this? Or am I just really sucked into social media and I have this ideal, you know? Yeah. I went and saw Frozen and the second one. And Elsa's song about like hearing a voice and following that voice, even though it might like destroy her current situation and going for it, like that spoke to me at like a spiritual level. And I felt like, okay, thank you. Like I got my answer, and then continued to watch the movie, and she like Into the Unknown song where she actually goes forth and finds like the truth. I was like, my heart was beating, like I was sweaty. I was like a free bird situation where I found those boots. Like I knew that that's what I needed to do. Yeah. And I'm a very much like a social people person. And although I love reselling, but I just don't want to clean boots forever. I feel like this would be like more of a long-term career path for me, is helping other people and bringing other people together. And then I was like, oh, it all makes sense. Like all of these useless jobs that I've had come together where I understand what my purpose is. Like
that. It's very, I mean, it's touching. And I think because in order to be an entrepreneur or to take on a task like this, you have to be able to do that, because you're going to put in a lot of time and energy and feel like everything is beating you down. And the only way that you're going to get through that is if you have the passion that you have. It is absolutely an amazing idea. And I want to support you. And I don't know if you need, I mean, all of the things that you asked for, if people do those things and they want to speak, are you still looking for people to, I mean, can they reach out to you if they want to be a part of it, and not just attend, but then also to help
contribute? Yeah. So I'm looking for sponsorships. Like with companies that do like poly mailers, all of that good stuff for goodies. I am looking for speakers. And like I want to compensate people for their time, but I can't like pay you what like Maybelline will pay you. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge company, so I'm looking for speakers and goodies and any type of contributions in that way, but also for you to share and to get people excited and to tag people and to send my information to people. So that's been like word of mouth has been really inspirational for me, because I get messages from random people who are like, tell me more, I want to know more about what you're doing. And all of that has been very helpful for me, because it's like, okay, like this is kind of, I get a roadblock in the planning, and then I get a message like that, and I was like, okay, I have to keep going because people need this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I am just thinking if we can do like a reseller update, because I want to, I mean, I don't have a huge channel by any means. I'm not like a Nicole State. But I do want to help you. And I mean, I think people that watch my channel will probably also want that, because I do a lot of data analytics, right? Like they want more knowledge. And so if you want, and we can even just do something quickly on Instagram as like a live update to help you get the word out as well. And I don't think, oh, I was gonna say one other thing to your point. I could be wrong, but I feel like in the reseller community, because you're just starting this, that, I mean, yes, people would love to get paid, like, of course, but I think that you're going to get a lot of people that are willing to give your time to help you, to help this come together, so that it is something, you know, maybe in 5 years, it can be something to get paid, but someone has to start it now.
Yeah.
And share the knowledge. And I feel like, I mean, with all the YouTubers and Instagrammers out there giving their knowledge away for free, I think that you'll be able to find that to help you. So if you have anything that she mentioned and you know how to talk about it, and you want to join one of the
contacts for people who like, you know, people who own companies, or like you make merch for resellers or products for resellers, like getting me in contact with those people, because I don't necessarily need items, but like discounted items or some type of deal where we can promote your items for you in all of our retreats and tag you on Instagram. So we'll definitely like trade, you know, but yeah, you're right. It's definitely for the first like year, I have that full understanding that this is the first year and it's not going to be 100% what I envision. But in a couple years, like what I envision is like, it's amazing. I'm so excited to see what comes of it.
Yeah. And I think you will get there. And I wholeheartedly, I love it. I love all of it so much, because it's what I'm trying to do with my itty bitty channel, and you're taking it like to these extremes that I don't have time for. So
I'm so happy you're on board though, because like, like your people are my people. Like the people that are coming to you for help are going to be the people who are coming to the reseller retreats. So it's like a perfect, you know, situation.
Right. Well, and if we can figure out the technology too, I'm down to speak at all of them. I can't travel to all of them, financially speaking, or my children. We were just trying to figure out how to take one vacation to go see my new nephew this summer, and we could not find one date that worked on vacation. Because we already like planned something here, and then my husband has this at work, and then so like I would love to come to all of them, but like that's just not realistic for me. However, I can absolutely give you an hour, 2 hours of my time on a conference, something. So if we can work that out, I am totally down for that.
That'd be really, really cool.
We have, and I knew we probably would run over, because they're both things that we are passionate about. And I love when I am making money while we're talking. New offer, isn't it? Hopefully you did too. So I'm going to cut it off there just for the sake of time. I feel like we could probably chat forever. But I will keep everybody updated on the reseller retreats. I'm going to put, I think I have a link in my link tree, but if I don't, well, once it goes live, right? Okay.
And I also have in my link in my bio and my Instagram, I also have the Reseller Retreat Instagram page, which is not super active yet because I haven't gotten a lot of details like completely solidified. So I don't want to promote without having things set in stone. But yes, you can find updates there. And also I have a survey in the link in my bio. If you are interested, you can go to the link in my bio and fill out that survey. And then that way you'll be emailed once registration is open.
Oh, good. I did that. Okay. But I follow you on Instagram, so I'm sure I'll see it. But also I'm going to speak, so I probably will know when it is, hopefully. Okay. So thank you so much for joining, and thank you for being totally transparent and showing us all of your data. I am hoping that we can have you back on in a couple of months and kind of see how the journey is going for your data and being a full-time reseller, and then also for how the retreats are going and all the things that come up in between all of that. So if you guys like content like this, make sure to, where's my finger? I'm half asleep. Make sure to subscribe and give thumbs up if you like videos like this so that I know to do more of them. If you're watching this in a recording, you can leave comments down below for me or for Tamsin. I will make sure that she gets them. Her information, her link tree is also in my description if you want to contact her personally. She is very active. Her Instagram is really fun too, so follow her there. But she is active on Instagram and then obviously on Poshmark too. So if you want to contact her directly for the reseller retreat or just to reach out because she's such an amazing person, I'm sure she would love to chat with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Tamsin, for being so vulnerable and transparent and putting together these retreats. I'm super excited for them. So
thanks for having me.
Yes, I hope everyone has a wonderful night.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.